problems. You can't put it into gear. Turn it off. And then try it. I'll try to put it in gear.
The yonkest.
Primary clutch is messed up. We'll fix it. That don't sound good. Woo. So we got a little issue with the mean machine. While we were riding over at Hodge Road, Abraham, where were you at?
I don't know, in Hesperia somewhere.
Somewhere in Hesperia, and he freaking jacked up the clutch. So he went into some water. Apparently Abraham is a part fish. He likes to go in the water every chance he gets. Got some water on there, and the belt started slipping, damaged the primary clutch. So in this video, it's not really gonna be a step-by-step, but we're gonna pull off both clutches. We're gonna inspect the secondary clutch. We're gonna repair the primary clutch, and by repair, we're pretty much gonna replace it and replace the housing because the belt gave, damaged the housing, and put a big giant hole in my boy's wallet.
Oh, no, 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 no.
It is what it is. All right, so we're gonna start off with removing the secondary clutch. Actually, we gotta do the belt first, and then yeah, we'll pull off the primary and see what the damage is. To start, Abraham's removing the belt. So when he was riding, the belt ripped, and obviously he had to get back to where he was going, or he had to get he wanted to keep riding, so he put another belt on it. The problem was the primary clutch was already damaged, and we're gonna show you guys when we take it off where it was grooved up. So if you guys ever damage a belt or explodes like this, or if you're replacing a belt in general, always inspect the primary clutch. Put your hands in there, obviously with the car off, inspect it, feel it out, make sure there's no sharp spots. And on his clutch, there's a really bad sharp spot on the outer sheave, and it damaged the new belt. So he lost out on the belt right there as well. So now we gotta, you know, repair everything, and well, it is what it is. What are you gonna do?
8 billies.
8 billies? Damn. Hey, glad it wasn't me. While he's taking the belt off, check out this 2C I got in the garage. I just installed a intrusion bar. We're gonna put a bumper on it, but that's kind of boring. I already did a bumper video in the past. We did do a full exhaust on this, rear bumper, and then I got other stuff. I gotta do like a blow-off valve, DV flow from Evo, and then a Razorback temp gauge. So pretty cool stuff. So now we're taking off the secondary clutch. The secondary is really easy. It's splined on there, so it just pops off. There is a washer and a bolt. Abraham's got it. All right, now we're gonna pull off the primary, but to get to the primary bolt, you're gonna wanna remove the sway bar link end. So that's really easy. 18mm and a 18mm wrench. Where's Timmy at, dude? Timmy should be holding the flashlight right now. How about those fucking...
He's working the graveyard right now.
Hey, ever since you got a girlfriend, fool, never see that fool no more.
Nobody got me pussy whip. I whips pussy.
All right, so he just took off the sway bar link on the driver's side. If you do the passenger side as well, now we can move the sway bar out of the way. Then we gain access to the bolt for the primary clutch. Abraham's getting an extension so we can pull off the primary. We're gonna take a quick look at this belt, and you can see the chew up marks. You can see them right here. See all these little lines? That's from it rubbing on a sharp spot on the sheave of the primary clutch. And this belt's pretty much toast. It's still good to get you back to camp, so you know, I wouldn't throw it away. That's a long dog right there. That's the bolt for the primary. You get that off of a 22mm. Now we're gonna use hey, rookie mistakes, homie.
Just looking, dog.
Chill out. We're gonna take off. What the hell? Were you able to move this? I guess not. Grab the this tool right here. This is your primary clutch puller. It's pretty much a bolt that runs in and pushes the primary off of the crankshaft of the engine. We're gonna spin that on. Keep going, because it seats and then it goes again. All right. We're gonna put a little bit of grease on this. All right, in order to get off the primary clutch, you're gonna wanna use your puller, put a little bit of grease on the threads, just a little bit, and a little bit on the tip. Just the tip.
Just for a second, just to see how it feels.
Put that mother lever on, and I always use an impact to take this off. If you try doing it manually by hand, it becomes a pain in the ass. The shock from the impact helps it a lot to get it off, so hopefully I ain't lying. Take it off, be very careful, pull off your primary, and hand it to Abraham. Don't drop it, fool. All right, I have to take the camera off your hands. So now we'll inspect that in just a second. We're gonna focus on removing the clutch housing. We've done this on a video before where we added that aluminum liner from Geyser. That's a good option. I don't think it's the best option, but it is a good option. The ultimate best would probably be the one that I have on my machine, which is that cast aluminum. But there have been variations in that cast aluminum where some people have issues, some people don't. I haven't had an issue. The other option is a carbon fiber liner that I hear works really good. When it comes to liners, I think carbon fiber would probably be better over aluminum, because aluminum, once that belt snaps, hits the aluminum likes to bend and likes to stay bent, and that freaking aluminum liner can get caught up in the clutches. Or I think the carbon fiber won't do that. I think it can kind of like rebound back to where it's at. So we're just gonna replace it with a stock housing, and then he might decide to do a liner in the future. Damn, dude, this is super broken. How about, check it out, we'll take off the 10s and then we'll kind of pull that down and maybe we can get to it. Spit on it, fool. Oh man, that's a lot of damage. What were you thinking? He just admitted to me that he went in the water with it broken. It was an accident though. He didn't see the water. And that's when the fucking clutch grenaded probably. By the way, there is a seal behind the trans, and there's also going to be seal on the engine side, so make sure you put those back on. This is the housing. We got it in. The seal for the engine, they do provide you with a new one. The one for the trans, where you're reusing it, we already put it back on the trans. What's nice about this is they do also include this. When I bought the RPM aluminum housing, you did have to transfer all this stuff, so we can put that back on. Quick inspection of the secondary clutch. The sheaves, gotta make sure they're nice and smooth. We're gonna go ahead and clean these off with acetone to make sure there is no old rubber or anything like that that's gonna cause us to have any issues, but they look really clean. No scoring, which is great. Typically you don't see a lot of scoring on the secondary clutch. Besides that, the only thing that goes bad on these is the rollers. The rollers take a crap. They're not cracked or anything on this one. We're gonna leave this alone. We're gonna reinstall this after we do the primary, so we'll put this on to the side for now. Man, making videos is not easy, you guys. It's a fucking mission. First of all, let me explain something. I am a very bad talker. I've always been a bad talker. One time I had to do a freaking presentation when I was trying to go to college. I stepped up there, I knew it wasn't for me, dropped out of college the next day. So now I'm in my garage working like a slave, and that's what I like to do. So, while he mounts up the clutch housing, I'll give him a hand in a second, but what we do have new is the inner and outer sheave. This is the inner sheave that goes along the engine. This will be the outer one that's closest to the driver's side. Brand new sheaves, nice and well, perfect. And the only thing that we're gonna reuse is actually the governor cup that goes on top. We do got new bearings, and what's mostly important on these vehicles that goes bad a lot too is these bearings. It's already greased up for us. So one bearing, two of these shims for the bearing, two sheaves, and we'll show you the damage on the old primary. All right, this is not gonna be a step-by-step, but I'm gonna give you the overview. You're gonna reinstall your clutch puller tool and leave it popping out about 1.5 inches. Then these are the Evo toolkit for the clutches. We're gonna install that, put our Allens in place. Then you're gonna get the bazooka. And as you can see, you can tighten the bolt until the governor cup pops off of the rest of the clutches. So now I can pull it apart. All right, when you go to pull off your governor cup here, you want to make sure that all these rubber bushings and pucks don't fall off. And they just did, which is annoying, but we'll get to that in a second. So the only thing to inspect on the governor cup here, this upper top hat, whatever you call it, are these plastic little slider pucks. I don't know what they call these, but so these pucks pretty much slide on here, and that's what the sliding motion is when this sheath goes in and out. Pretty much you gotta make sure that the O-rings aren't, you know, damaged, coming apart. These are all fine. This vehicle has what, 1,000 miles on it? Yeah. 1,000 miles. They say you're supposed to replace them every 500 miles. That's a little exaggerated. I've seen them go more than that, way more than that, and they're just fine. We're gonna put this back together towards the very end. Just make sure the pucks are in place when you slide this back on top of the other upper half. And yeah, so we'll get to the issue that we're having, and you can see here, freaking water. Damn, dude, there's all sorts of freaking rust right here. So there's rust right here. it is what it is. The biggest problem on these machines is gonna be on the belt burning the sheaves, and this happens when you get into water. The belt starts slipping, you don't notice it, you give them more gas, and that friction of the belt slipping on here ruins the sheave. Now I know KWI and Ibex, they offer services where they could recut some of these, but once it's to a point where the grooves are too deep, there's no way they're gonna fix it. And you could actually feel a real sharp edge on these right here. It's just damaged, and that ruined the new belt he put on. He may just probably use that. I don't know if you want to do that. You might damage the new primary.
No, somebody new.
It's just best to put a new belt. So the other issue that most of you guys are gonna have out there when you have issues putting it into drive or reverse while the engine is running is gonna be this primary bearing. This should be pretty free, and as you can see, it's pretty tough, and that might be because there's water and rust, and I can't even pull this guy off. God dang. All right, this one's on there real tight, so there might be a little bit of rust in there. It does have some grease, but it is a little tough. So mainly, if this is not turning properly, Jesus Christ, god damn. All right, so that's probably the problem. So if that's not turning smoothly, it doesn't come off smoothly, that's going to cause the belt to catch, and the secondary clutch is going to spin and not let you put it into gear because the secondary is spinning. Other issues with this is, you know, the belt will ride on the bearing. And what am I trying to say? The problem is the freaking bearing will get stuck. Anyways, let's go back to reinstalling the new parts. So we're gonna put this aside. When you get your inner sheave, you're gonna get one of these shims, put the shim on, get your bearing, it's already greased. Thank you, Can-Am. It should slip right on, see that? Not like this freaking guy. And then we'll put another one of these little shims over the top of that. And then we'll put on our new housing. Before we put on the new housing, we gotta transfer some components, mainly the weights and the springs. So, parts guys, dude, they always do you dirty. They give us the wrong outer sheave here. This is an older style for like a 2017. When these first came out, they didn't have any stainless plates for the sliding portion, and the newer style does. This is the 2021. See how it has those bolts and those little plates there. This one doesn't have it, and you could run this one, it's just fine, but in the long term this will wear out, so that's something to know. So we're gonna see if Abraham decides to use this or not. I mean, we already have it apart, but he could consider just sitting in the back and waiting for the other one. I mean, the hammers is still like a week and a half away, so
Well, if it's here on time, then yeah.
So it is what it is. So what we would do next is actually pull these Torx off, transfer the spring and this cup, transfer all the weights, and I would transfer these, but I don't think we can. And what else? Then you would put it back together. So this is a fail. Shit.
Until next time.
Until next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Back in the garage. All right, so many days later, Abraham's back. He's got the right part from Rocky Mountain. It was Rocky Mountain, right?
Now some freaking company in Nebraska. I forgot what it's called.
What about the Rocky Mountain order?
It didn't come through. They sent the wrong one, and then I sent it back, and then once they got it, they sent me the right one, and I was like, hey, I already got the part.
Canceled. So what we're doing here is we got the OG, the one that came in the car. This is the primary outer sheave. You got all your weights. We got to transfer all those. We also got to transfer the spring and the cup that sat on top, which we already did off camera. But pretty much you use one of these all threads, so spacers, keep tension on the cup, and then you can take off all the Torx and then release the tension and remove it. So we're gonna transfer all this stuff over. It's fairly simple. There's a bunch of videos on YouTube on how to actually do this correctly. We're just two ding dongs in the garage, so let's see. Or take that, and I think we need this guy here. Pretty sure. Oh man, C's in there. We'll be back. All right, so there's a piece in here they got to transfer over. It's pretty rusted in there, so we're gonna smack with a socket and a hammer. I already had it loose. I kind of faked it right there. Faking the funk, homie. So we're gonna put that on that one. So this was like this, right? So this has got to go. Damn, look at all that rust, dude. See? You want to be going in the water, dude.
Making a mess in your garage.
You want to be fucking going in the water. That's what happens. What was that? Man, you know you're in the ghetto. It's good. Every time we're in the garage, like, you know you're in the ghetto. Alright, so how were we? So that was like the big angles down. Ooh, that one slipped right in. That's what we want. Alright, so now we could transfer over the spring And on the primary clutch, I don't think there's any orientation. Again, we're probably gonna wipe that off just for good measure. You don't want to lube it or anything because then it attracts dirt, but just make sure it's nice and dry. And so on the primary, there's no clocking or anything to insert. On the secondary there is, but we're not doing that today. Like I said, plenty of videos on YouTube. We're gonna install this back on. We'll put this cap back on, this guy. We'll put that cover back on here, and we'll put that back together, and then we'll transfer the weights. The weights are super simple. Looks like you gotta transfer not only the weights, but the actual what do you call this, chingazo?
Nut.
the bolt and the nut. And as well as on these weights, the factory weights, there's these little bushings on either side, so you make sure you put those back together too. When you're torquing that down, I'm sure there's a torque rating. I just snug them up. You do not over tighten them. Make sure these are always nice and free so it operates properly.
Take off the hairs.
Why is there hairs right there? This chingazo is gonna go right there. There's no way to start these until you actually compress this down. So washer, nut, compress it down, then you start running the torques. Torque them down. I'm sure there's a torque rating for that too. We're just snugging them up, and then we'll transfer the weights, and we'll get back to you guys when we throw in the car. All right, the mean machine will live again. On this primary clutch, a lot of guys ask what the torque is supposed to be. How many ugga-duggas do you give it with your 1/2-inch Milwaukee? That thing is strong, so I think the rating for the bolt is like somewhere between 80 and 95 foot-pounds. It's not a whole ton, but it is enough that you should do it with a gun, because if you try to do it by hand, it just turns the crank. So I do it with the gun. I give it a couple ugga-duggas, not a whole bunch. You do not want to stretch the bolt, and more importantly, you do not want to smash the primary bearing that's in between, because if this stops spinning and doesn't work properly, you're gonna have all sorts of issues getting it in and out of park and so on and so forth. So a couple of ugga-duggas on there. Throw a secondary clutch. That rating for the torque on the bolt is like, I think like 45-50 foot-pounds as well. I don't know off the top of my head. I just use my ugga-dugga, honestly. So it is what it is, dude. So put the secondary back on, put the bolt back on, put the belt back on, and this thing's ready to ride for the next time we go out. We were supposed to go to Glamis this weekend. That didn't go as planned. I think we might be shooting for somewhere else, like Ocotillo Wells, or maybe go back to Johnson Valley and explore all the spots that we couldn't explore during the King of Hammers. It was too packed. Hey, we try it?
One.
No, you gotta, like, it's very...
There you go. It's you had to touch the magic touch.
You just gotta spin till it goes on. So if anybody has issues doing that, you gotta put it in gear. Don't put it in park, it'll just free spin the output shaft. You gotta actually put it in gear. So put that back on park. Try getting that bolt in there, yeah? On the Can-Am belts, there's always a rotation, so if you could read the letters from the driver's side, it should be good. So
there you go, Frank.
come on, I'm not gonna tell you anything on this one.
I got it. I've done it before.
No, still kidding.
Oh, I gotta mention this first. On today's episode of How Fucked Up Is Fucked Up.
So initially, besides the kind of noises it was making, he was having a hard time getting it out of what was it, getting into park or out of park, or into gear, huh? Gear. Hopefully there's nothing else messed up, but I'm pretty sure it was primary. Man, this thing's gonna be loud. You got like 7 feet, just watch your foot tall, make sure it goes in gear. Or you'll be like your cousin. Drive.
I wasn't doing that.
What? That's good. Yeah, I got used to the exhaust. It's not as loud as I thought. You got used to it too? Yeah. We might have another exhaust for this machine, so we're waiting for that one. But this is the RPM sport muffler. You guys want to buy one of those? You can check it out on the website. But as far as the clutch, feels good, goes in the gear. I think we're done today. So see you guys in the next video. Short video, but it was a fun one. See ya. What's up, my guy?
Peace.